to take off my watch. There you go. All right. So we're all still doing some hard work, I hope. It's kind of going to be the theme for the week, folks, and should be beyond that. So let's go ahead and get into our wuxi posture. Feet parallel underneath you, hip width apart, some bend to the knees, a little bit of weight to the end of the tailbone to elongate the spine. Stacking up all the way to the top of the head and lifting the top of the head through the ceiling as though suspended from above. A little bit of space under the arms. What I'm thinking for today, I want to do some clearings to make sure that we're nice and clear within ourselves, obviously. Ensuring that we're not taking any of our BS, insecurities, and guilt into the pyramid. And then I want to do a pyramid meditation for everybody who's protesting, for everybody who's getting arrested or whose loved ones are getting arrested right now. So let's focus first on the self, on the body, and just get things nice and clear before we offer our support. Because we can't support if we are clouded and murky and unwell. So we'll start with the very basic inhale up, bend the elbows, and bring clean energy down through the body, gathering up impurities. Inhale those up and out. Exhale out into a fountain, out into the heavens, which can handle it. So you're bringing clean energy in, raising anything that doesn't serve, and letting it go. And we'll do a little bit of Wei Qi raking, so bringing the fingers gently over the inner surface of the legs, up the torso, down the inner surface of the arms, and flick off any of those nasties. Then over the outside surface of the arms, the back of the head, the backs of the legs, out the pinky toes, and flick again. Out the insides, just raking up, gathering any impurities and letting them go. So it's really important that we start from a place of clarity whenever we practice, especially when we're practicing for the sake of others. You can imagine being an acupuncturist. This is the kind of thing I do between patients. Sometimes you've just got to make sure you leave one thing where it is before you move on to the next. Shaking things off a little bit, and then we'll clean a little bit deeper. So the emotions live on the Wei Qi surface, but emotional states that stay with us longer are part of the nutritive system of Qi and blood. So we're going to clear the blood the way that we have, pressing somewhat deeply into the chest, abdomen, and down the inner surface of the legs. So there is directionality to our channels, generally, but it's always possible to drain through the most distant part of the channel. So that's what we're doing. And I want to take a moment to do a little bit of acupressure for frustration. So I want you to find this spot. It's kind of like a third of the way up your leg. It might be an entire hand width as a good sort of metric, and right behind your bone, on the inner surface of your leg, should be pretty sore. So this point is called a low point, L-U-O, and it connects to the emotion of anger. And any latency being stored in the liver blood, which houses the spirit of the liver, which is the Hun, which takes action and dreams and plans and connects up with everybody else who is dreaming and planning and taking action. So once you've done that for a little bit, I just have another low point for you. So this is kind of on the back of the arm. Let's see, this is a good way to do it. So here's one. This is for lung. So if you take the wrist that you're going to treat and you hold it completely straight in front of you, and then you interlock your other thumb and forefinger with that one. Where your index finger falls, the fingertip, that's the point. You should feel a little gap where there are like a tendon and a bone, weird little cleft. This is another low point, but this time dealing with the emotion of grief. And the lung, whose spirit is Po, which is the embodied spirit, the part of us that is only with us when we're alive. Do the same thing on the other side. And if you're ever pressing on something and it doesn't feel right, don't do it. It's fine. You can skip it. You can just stand in wuxi for a little while. There's no pressure to do acupressure. Okay. Letting go of that. I'll come back to wuxi posture and do a little bit of shaking. Just sort of, again, clear things out. Make sure that we're not bringing any of our personal stuff into the space. And then we're going to do meditation. And this is also an opportunity for you to move however you want to move before you do your thing. Maybe get things off. Maybe your hips, maybe your shoulders. And then we'll come into our wuxi posture. So again, feet hip width underneath you, parallel. Feel them melt into the floor. Get a nice deep bend in your legs. Relaxing through the posterior part of the body, stacking up the spine, lifting up from the heavens. And bring your attention to your tailbone. And send down from your tailbone deep into the earth a line of energy. Deep down into the foundation of the building you're in, into the topsoil, through the groundwater, deeper and deeper into the crust of the earth. The big ball that holds us all. And from that point, just imagine this big root has grown out of you. And take a moment to transfer anything back and forth across this root that needs to move. Dropping any tension out of your body, letting go of any residual stuff that we just kicked up deep into the earth to be recycled. And bringing up from the earth any nourishment that you need to make it through what you're currently going through. Bring that nourishment up through the spine. Imagine it, however visually or embodiedly helps you. If you want to do a spinal wave, you can do a spinal wave. If you want to imagine some yellow light or maybe some blue light traveling up your spine, that can be very helpful. Whatever you're doing though, bring it all the way up through your pelvis, your lower body, your midsection, your diaphragm, chest, throat, your head, a point just above your head, and hang out there for a moment. This is your higher self. This is the part of you that is unconditional, shining, compassionate, and strong. This is the part of you that holds you in the highest personal regard. This is the part of you that holds all of humanity in the highest personal regard. Now keep traveling up from the top of the head to a point in the heavens where all of us meet. See if you can find me up there. See if you can find some protesters up there. See if you can find George and Brianna and Ahmad up there. If a strong emotion is present, please feel free to express it. I invite you to use that language. Grief is present. Anger is present. In this collective space, we feel one another's emotions safely and completely. We are all whole and worthy of love and life. We are all raising ourselves up, striving to do better for one another, holding one another in the highest personal regard, unconditionally, because every human, no matter their background, no matter their personal or ancestral history, is valuable and worthy and something worth fighting for. meeting in this space to declare that that is so. Because at this time, that is something that inexplicably needs declaring. Something that should be so obvious. That this is a space without shoulds. This is simply a space of declaration. A place where we can all meet up and say it is so, that Black Lives Matter. Coming back down out of this space, I want you to draw 4 lines to the corners of this entire nation. Imagine one of them planting itself in Alaska, one in Hawaii, one in Florida, one in Maine. A great pyramid which houses all of the people on American soil. We don't forget Puerto Rico. We don't forget Hawaii. We don't forget all of these places touched by the laws of our country, where people of color are suffering or have suffered for generations. And we invite into this pyramid a wind of change, the power of benevolence, fueled by an appropriate anger, made clear and firm. Imagine this pyramid filled with a bright green light. Imagine that everything that it touches feels the wind of change and leans in. May all of your fears be transformed into listening and wisdom. May all of your anger be transformed into benevolence and clarity of action. May your lack of joy be transformed into community and compassion. May your worry be transformed into sympathy and loyalty. May your grief be transformed into value and worth for all. Follow your lines back up to that point where we all meet. This place of community, this place where we're all saying together that Black Lives Matter and that enough is enough. follow that line back down to the top of your head, where it is just you. But you know that you have access. You're connected to all of these people. You're connected right through your core as a human on this earth, suspended between heaven and earth. Follow that line all the way back down, deep into the earth, letting go of any residual emotion that is in excess, that is preventing you from taking the actions you need to take, that is stopping you in your spot. And again, follow that line back up to your tailbone, taking with you any nourishment that you need to take action. And begin to move again, opening the eyes, lifting the toes, lifting the heels, rotating the wrists, letting the neck go from side to side. We've been standing for a while. Yeah, that was basically the whole time. But that's what I think we needed. I know a lot of people might come here for movement, but movement has to come from clarity and focus. So I'm hoping that that guided meditation serves some people. I'm just stretching out the tops of my feet. So move however you need to move right now. And we'll do a little bit of bone marrow cleansing again. Placing one hand on the low back and the other hand above the crown. Breathing normally, just imagine bringing clean energy down through your bones, pushing ahead into the earth at least 3 feet deep, all of the muck that you accumulate. And then switch sides. I'll do that a few times. If it helps, you can imagine a wave of light traveling through your bones. And we'll do bone marrow cleaning with both hands. Inhale up. Breathe normally and keep the hands above the head for 10 counts. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, during which time your hands are charging up, and then bringing that energy down through you deep into the earth. And we'll bring the hands together, pressing the thumbs into the sternum for a moment, listening to the heart. Before we raise the fingers up to the heavens in gratitude for connecting us, and down to the earth in gratitude for nourishing us, back to the chest, and let's bow to one another in gratitude for our practice. I hope that you enjoyed today. I know we're a little bit early, but I just wanted to talk to you. So with all that's going on, yesterday I think a lot of people took the time to really focus on the issues. I say that's not enough. So I've decided that all of my videos this week I'm going to make for free for access for everybody just for the week, because I think that's about as long as I can really focus my efforts and my energies on processing this with and for everybody. So feel free to make heavy use of these, share them with people who need them. Obviously, I only have the perspective of someone who was white and raised in America. So I'm hoping that I can help support people who are learning to see these things for the first time. It's okay if you are new to that space, just walk into it and listen. I think listening is really important right now, listening to Black voices, and making sure that we are taking the action that actually serves before taking that action. So I'm urging you, if you are not a person of color, to listen and think before you speak or act right now. Because this isn't about us, and we can't possibly know that experience. And we also need to be really mindful about how we speak into this space. We have privilege, we have power, we should use it to amplify the voices of the people who are affected by this most strongly. That's not to say that you should be going to your Black friends and asking them to explain things to you. That's asking them to do more work than is appropriate. That's asking them to help you assuage your guilt. And that's not okay either. So just read and listen and be open. Donate if you can. If you think that you can't, please be extra special sure that you can't. Do you really need whatever amount of your personal budget available right now? You know, is that subscription box more important than a bailout fund right now, for example? So yeah, that's what I wanted to say. I want to make sure that I'm not drowning out any voices that need to be heard. I will post some links with this video to some of my colleagues who are people of color. I think that their work is really valuable, and I think that you should follow them on social media as well. Yeah, that's what I'm here to say. Thanks for joining me today. I'll continue to do this kind of work this week. Just anything that I can to support people who are processing what's going on right now. These are protests, and they are important. And we need to be very careful not to minimize what's happening. So don't fall back asleep. Like I said yesterday, don't fall back asleep. When things get overwhelming, do your qigong, do your meditation. Don't let yourself get paralyzed. That's what I'm trying to provide here, is a way to process emotions so that they don't take us over in such a way that we can't act on them. They're there to make us act on them. That's what emotions are for. So yeah, listen to that, and take care of yourself and take care of the people that you love. Have a good day, and I will see you again tomorrow at 11. And yeah, bye.